And, that could be a big concern for the Aussies. And I guess that's maybe our segue to get into the cricket for Australia getting demolished by India into the first test.
Innings in 130 odd. And a few tears, Aussie tears. Monks, hit that.
Yeah.
Hit that. Let's go through the teams selected to start off with. A lot of conversation, maybe contentious decision to leave Travis Head out. So Cam Green unavailable, Mitch Starc unavailable, few fingers. And then Josh Hazlewood has some Achilles issues.
Yeah, he pulled up a bit lame in some of the warm up there while they were over there. So
he was a late scratching. We always knew Starc wouldn't be playing, and Cam Green was kind of like, well, is he in our top six sticks? Because he can probably bat, he just couldn't bowl.
And I think with his injury as well, with the 6 weeks, it aligned perfectly for next week. So he needed this week to, finish his recovery, and he should be available in the following tests. And I have a theory, but we'll get to that, about who they pick for the second test. But for this one, I think the biggest out and most questionable was why is Travis Head left out. And I guess they did pick the right person in Todd Murphy there to partner line.
Well, the selectors are going, phew, thank fuck Todd Murphy did what he did.
They're batting at 500 though. So.
Yeah, they didn't really get much else right. No. Although Scott Boland played pretty well. Bowled line and length, his first overseas test. Old footbrush, Pete Hanscom back in the side, right-hander.
For a guy that's
good player of spin. Good player of spin. And poor Matt Renshaw, left-hander, didn't do the best. Poor fella. Can't imagine with Cam Green's return that Renshaw plays.
And I have a feeling that there's just too much pressure on the selectors. They'll have to make a change and put Head in the squad as well. So,
Chad Sayers, former teammate, South Australian teammate, posted on Twitter, "It's a fucking disgrace. Good to see a cricketer, speaking their mind." Because that was pretty much my thoughts around it too. The knock on Head was that, look, he's not a great player of spin. He's not very good in India. Newsflash, none of our sticks can't name Steve Smith any fucking good in India.
Surprised we can't play swing and can't play spin.
Can't play swing in England, can't play spin in India. It showed in this test match. I think
we like bounce. We like when it's bouncing in Australia.
Jess Rhodes, consistent, go out and score 550.
We'd rather the chin music and
against the West Indies and get this inflated self worth and cruising around our jobs, which actually aren't affected by the Australian cricket team's performance, but having that iota of confidence that comes with an Australian domination and knocking over the Saffers, the supposed, at the time, second best team in the world, knocking them over in 3 days, and then you get a little bit of a reality check, don't you?
Yes.
Reality check, please.
We always know it was going to be a challenge going into India to play India.
Yep.
And, they're also trying to play into the WTC, the World Test Championship game.
Which is going to be these two teams.
I think if they win 3-0, 3-1 or 4-0, the India guarantee themselves that they're in the final. If they don't...
If we get swept, do we miss out?
I know, but I think it just guarantees India to get in. Okay. So I think we're so far ahead. Like, we're 20 points ahead of India, but if they do really well against us, that bumps them up and guarantees them a spot.
Okay.
If they, if it's a 2-2 or whatever, then they have to rely on other results to then make sure they're guaranteed in that second spot.
From what I saw in that first test, I'm not confident that I was getting a Desmond Tutu in this one, to be honest.
You brought it up. I think, James, where's your nearest broom? Because, we could be getting swept in this one.
Please, gentlemen's 3-1. Would I take that?
Yeah, yes. And, maybe part of that has to be on the back of Todd Murphy. So let's talk about Todd. Getting, what did he end up with, 7 or 8?
He got 7. He got 7 in that first innings. I think it was their second best ever start.
Yeah, right? So he got his Michelle Pfeiffer, but his final, did he get?
I think he got 7 for the test. Yeah, so seven for 124. So we only bowled ones, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think for an Aussie, the only other person to bowl better on their test debut was Jason Frazier. Household name, obviously. Bit of gear. Jason Frazier gear. Some thoughts around his selection. We thought maybe they'll go with someone that spins the ball away from the right-hander, a la Ashton Agar, a la Mitchell Schwepson. Obviously, Todd bowled his skin off and the right decision was made.
Yeah, and I think that Sydney Test, as we talked about, Agar didn't perform probably enough to give them confidence. Murphy's record had been excellent, and I think we covered it. We talked about it. The selectors probably got in the head, the whole, if I've gotten one Nathan Lyon, two's got to be good.
Yeah.
And I feel like, they maybe, you look at some of the selections they did make, they probably overthought a bunch of stuff, and that's maybe why they made that selection. But in the end, this worked out really, really well.
Really, really well. Saved the selector's ass in this one. It was a little bit of a surprise. Like we kind of spoke about it a few weeks ago. Well, like Todd's in the squad. Good on him. He'll learn a lot from this. But they'll probably want someone to spin the ball away. But yeah, like you say, if you've got one Nathan Lyon, why not use two? And to Todd's credit, completely out-bowled Nathan Lyon in this one. He gets a bit more side spin. Nathan uses a lot of drift and in the air spin.
Which I think might be the concern for Nathan Lyon in India is he like I said, the drift and bounce. That's what he varies up. And with a pitch like this flat as it was, you're not going to get that much bounce in it. And it kind of and I have the same suspicion that maybe Cummins, and I'm going to start a conspiracy here, is not good in India for that reason.
He had, I don't know if it was the pressure of the occasion, but that spell that he bowled to Rohit on the evening of day one was horrible. It was half volleys on the pads. Rohit says, "Thank you, bacon, eggs, and those for breakfast. Thank you very much."
And I wonder
maybe not bacon. Not sure.
I wonder if he was struggling a little bit with his game. And you've seen with the IPL as well. He doesn't. I don't know. He just doesn't. Those conditions just don't
different
suit him.
over there, isn't it?
It is, and that's kind of the question with that. The bouncer there. Boland did his job, perfect line. Kept the runs down.
Top of off.
He just couldn't get wickets. But he did his job. But I think the difference between Lyon and Murphy was that Murphy was probably getting more spin and more turn out of the pitch. So thinking of I might be jumping ahead of you here a little bit of the next Test match with that expectation, and with the expectation it's probably going to turn more. I feel like Head's probably going to come in for Renshaw. I feel like Cam Green is going to come in for Hanscom. That gives you your second pace option. And I think Boland, because you can't drop the captain, though, he's probably not performing his best. Boland probably gets dropped and maybe Swepson comes in and they have the three spinners.
So India went three spinners.
To match it. But then I guess you're going to out India in India?
Probably not.
No. So
and Scott Boland absolutely does not deserve on his performance to be dropped for the next Test, but it may be a bit of a horses for courses
exactly.
kind of thing.
And I think if it's going to turn, maybe you get Swepson in there with that bowl at the other spin at the other direction, and you got Cam Green covering as your extra pace, who bowls about the same sort of pace as Boland anyway. I kind of can see that. I can see that actually. I can see that maybe is the plan going forward, and then. Yeah, you have to see who can play the spin the best, and we know that's going to be India. So I don't see how we can win it that way. I don't see picking, dropping bowl and picking Stark makes sense because he's got the pace, but maybe his biggest weapons is probably a bit of extra bounce as well, and the pitchers aren't going to really give it to him. So I can't see picking Stark either. I feel like if anything, it's we're going to have to try and spin away to victory.
I wonder the tiebreaker between Swepson and Agar, does it come down to the fact that Agar can bat and India bat to 9?
True.
And
got to bat deep as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be, you pick Agar as your third spinner just
because of the fact that he can bat. I feel for
Jadeja and
when they named that 11, I actually felt bad for Mitch Swepson considering he had to go to Pakistan and bowl on roads and that was difficult in early 2022, and then didn't disappoint by any means in Sri Lanka.
But is he just Stuart McGill, bro?
He might. Well, Stuart McGill has 200 Test wickets, the old sweet prince. So I'm sure he'd love to be Stuart McGrill.
Yeah,
McGrill. Stuart Bear McGrills.
Yeah.
Just not these days.
But it's an interesting one with Swepson, isn't it? That he's got all that talent. He's just, I don't know if it's opportunity or what the go is, but I just don't know if he's going to play a heap of Test cricket. I hope he does for the bloke.
Yeah.
The fact that I think Australia needs a strong leg spinner. You know, we grew up in the Shane Warne, rest in peace era.
But I think we just got stuck in this place. Like, if we go back to it and go, well, we want to pick two spinners and we wanted to go either way, you go, well, Nathan Lyon really didn't perform in this, but we can't drop Nathan Lyon because he's Nathan Lyon.
No, of course not.
Exactly.
Of course not.
And just like, well, we can't drop Todd Murphy. He just took 7. He was the only reason we were moving. So I think they're kind of stuck in that. And you have to stick probably by Cummins as well. Like, he's the captain. You can't drop him even if he's underperforming in India. That's just unthinkable. And the same question gets asked on Davey Warner there. Just that, maybe that, and you put Head in the opener, and I was like,
I don't think that will happen. The Australian media would love that rhetoric because David Warner is, for some reason, the most hated man by the Australian media down here. You know, I think
he went to Bunnings once. That's the only reason.
His wife is a strong woman that speaks on his behalf occasionally.
Yeah.
That's why the media and the nuffies in the comments like to get stuck into Dave Warner. They tend to forget the fact that he's one of Australia's best openers of all time.
Yes, and he did score 200 not too long ago. So he's been up and down, and
obviously completely unproven in India, and that's one of the sort of perennial monkeys on his back.
And I think one of the other things is, like, you look at the Usman and Warner, they felt like they maybe went too hard after the spinners early and kind of not throw the wicket away, but got done, maybe trying to be too aggressive. And then the middle order just couldn't get their front foot out of the way, and we're just getting LBW left, right, centre. I think we had 5 in that second innings. So and I don't know. There's a few questions here. Line average is 34 on the subcontinent. Keep that ready to get that. Maybe he doesn't get enough out of the pitches to turn it.
Yeah,
and
again, that's the nature of cricket, isn't it? Like we said before, all of our batsmen stink in the subcontinent that aren't named Steve Smith.
It looks like Swepson's going to be going home because he's going to have a child. So
Matt Kuhneman.
So that might that's an that's switches it up a bit, but maybe pushes Agar into that thinking, like you said there. What made Australia lose to India, and I think we covered that.
We can't play spin.
I don't think
we haven't been able to do it for 20 years.
Yeah, I don't think it's a fear of the spin or fear of they got them out, and I think we covered it. Like, they were being aggressive, maybe too aggressive.
Yeah, but maybe that is fear. Males wouldn't be ultra aggressive to hide some kind of inward fear, would they?
True.
Would they not?
Well, I think,
or am I just speaking for myself?
Yes. I think
/ every male that's ever been born.
I think Australia's usual strategy of playing against spin is try to hit the spinners out, like you're trying to go after them.
The commentators were saying that. They're like, they look at them to try and be aggressive here and get on top, and it just wasn't working.
But I don't think it's going to work anyway, because India's just going to keep bowling 3 spinners at you. You're not going to hit them out of the side. They're just going to keep going. Cool. That's just, you're giving me more options. I'll eventually get one to turn off this ranked deck, and you will miss it completely. And
that's part of the problem. Like, some of those deliveries, like, some would turn, some would just skid on. Like, you can't play. You have to be aggressive. You have to sort of try and hit it as early as possible, and you just can't.
Yeah, but I mean, like, not coming down and not trying to hit everything for 4s and 6s. Like, it's work in it. It's trying to. I think be more, because what I think Usman got 10 for 7 in the last one. Like, you'd see he was being really aggressive in that second innings.
10 off 7.
Yes, sorry.
I was like, Usman,
clean him up.
That was my figures in the nets in year 4.
I think it's
allegedly.
Instead of trying to hit them out of the park, is what I'm getting at. It's just like playing the spin and trying to move it around a bit more.
Usman had 5 off 9.
Sorry.
That's pretty much the same shit.
Well, I guess, and maybe, credit David Warner there. He got through 41 only for 10 before he, and of course, got LBW. But maybe that's the way you got to play it. You got to play it like Pujara in this one, and
you have to play it. No, you have to play it like who scored runs in this? Rohit Sharma. You see him use his feet and say, "Hey, Nathan Lyon, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to use my feet and put you over mid on early on and set the precedent." I think, Yeah, the Aussies were probably trying to emulate that. They maybe overswept a little bit as well. You could, obviously.
It comes to mind.
Yeah, and you think back to how did Matthew Hayden have success in India? He was a big proponent of sweeping every fucking ball that a spinner bowls. But I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers other than pick Travis Head.
Yeah, I think Rohit Sharma is a good one to talk about because that might give the Australians a little bit of confidence because besides him, that middle order for India didn't really score anything.
100%, yeah.
Before they got into, the all-rounders, we'll call them, which really put the knife in the back of the
that was the difference that, look, we didn't bat well, but the difference in the game was Jadoo and Patel going out and having 120 run partnership for the fucking 8th wicket. What was it? 240 to 328.
Because we were
100 run partnership.
Because we were comparable. I think they were
Maths.
they were like 140 with 4 down at one point, and I was like, well, we're kind of in the same sort of spot. But then we just couldn't get those guys out in the back end.
Now, I like it if you want to look at silver linings and being positive. The boys should be saying, if we get Sharma out and can work out the enigma that is Jadoo, because we'll talk about him in a second, the rest of their top order did not do a whole lot.
Yeah,
and Virat Kohli is under some sort of pressure to score some red ball runs.
Yeah, especially when he gets out because they've got 2 debutants in the team. And I guess let's talk about India. We'll switch you over here. The India selections, they've picked 2 debutants.
In Sky and Bharat. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Surya Kumar Yadav in following the IPL, Indian
I believe he's the
white ball
T20
cricket.
number 1 player in the world at the moment.
Excellent white ball cricket. The question was, would Shubman Gill get a run in the middle order, or would they open with Shubman Gill and put KL Rahul somewhere else? Misses out.
Yep.
A lot of pressure on a 30-something-year-old white ball specialist to come in and make runs. Although the way that he plays in white ball cricket, you can understand the selection. Interesting, and I'd love to hear any opinion from our Indian friends in the comments on Sky's selection, and is he a viable red ball cricketer?
I wonder if they thought, because we bat so deep anyway, like, hey, if he can come out and get 100 off 50, like, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Or if he gets 0, it doesn't matter because we can still bat. We still got guys that come out that can help us out.
It seems like a lot of test teams these days like to have someone that bats 5 or 6 and can just fucking turn it on.
Yeah.
Obviously, no Rishabh Pant in this test match. Does Sky...
Did see him walking during the week.
Which is great.
We should cover that as well.
Horrific accident and good to see him on the mend. Maybe, that they've gone with Bharat, who isn't a white ball
elite hitter like that,
specialist. Maybe they bring in Sky to have that sort of Rishabh Pant effect. And then Bharat, admittedly, don't really know too much about him. I thought Ishan Kishan was going to get the gloves in this one. Hand on my heart, don't watch the Ranji Trophy day in and day out. So, again, would love to know a little bit more about Bharat. Wasn't really needed with the bat in this one. But
luckily, the guys around him did a solid job. Kept him going.
Let's talk about Jadoo. He's a fucking freak. He hasn't played cricket for 6 months.
Interesting. Did you expect them to pick 3 spinners, like to add Patel into this?
Yeah, I
did it make more sense because his Bumrah's injured, isn't he?
Yeah, so Bumrah's unavailable. I thought that they would go 3 spinners because 2 of these 3 spinners bat like fucking well. Well, actually, all of them
three.
Really,
all Ashwin was the night watchman, and he wanted to be.
They all bat like legends. So look at their spinners. Ashwin has 4 Test hundreds. Jadoo has 5. And do you know who has a better Test average in the last 24 months out of Joe Root and Ravi Jadeja?
Probably Jadeja.
Yeah, given the setup and the conversation, etc. So he's the bloke's averaging like 49 over the last few years. He can just turn a match on its head, and they've just speaks volumes to where India is at as a cricketing nation. They've got like a clone in Akshar Patel. That was the difference in this Test match.
Oh, big time.
Their partnership, their ability to go, if we can skittle them for 260 and we're only, 100 odd behind, they've got to bat last, maybe we're in this to, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It was really interesting how they went with the hot hand as well. Like Jadeja and Patel did most of the bowling in the first innings, and Ashwin did more in the second. Whether that was a bit of the pitch management as well. They thought Ashwin would save him a little bit, and he will bowl him more on later in the Test match, knowing that he could do a job against the Australians. But it was they're effective from all of it. I think what was the record that Jadeja got? He fastest to 250 or something. He needed 3 wickets. And he got the last 3 against in the second innings. I feel like it was 250.
In terms of games played or something like
yes,
that?
Yeah, faster than 250 wickets maybe for India. But he got what he needed the last 3 of the Australians in the second innings. But I don't think we can talk much more about it. I think they're on their selections. Like I think they're in the end they've picked a really, really dominant team for the conditions that they play at. So I guess the only caveat is there is maybe a weakness in that middle order, and maybe that's where the Australians can break it. But of course, they got to get through the captain first, and then try to tie up these good spinners / all rounders now.
I've got my fingers and every other thing that I can crossing that. Yeah, we can take advantage of that. Perhaps. Questionable middle order.
Yeah, because there was a question there about our predictions. We were hoping for a gentleman's kind of result, and after
I think I said 2-1. I think was my prediction to India, and I think I messaged you boys saying, get the broom out. This is looking like this is looking sweepy, but there's 3 tests to go. There's going to be different conditions. It's going to be a very different Australian team.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that in our last podcast. Is this first test might have been a bit of a test and trial for some of the stuff they were, in the conditions. Some stuff worked, Todd Murphy. Some stuff didn't work, and then we'll get there once the guys are healthy. Come back for the second test, and that'll be, I guess, more of what their game plan will be going forward. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and who they select. In that one, but outside of that, the Indian team dominated us. Ravi Ashwin got 450 wickets as well, going 9th all time.
Yeah, so he's just behind Lyon, so they'll have a little bit of a head-to-head battle, and then Courtney Walsh is a long way ahead of them. So it's going to sort of depend on how much longer those 2 blokes have in their careers. They're spinners, the body doesn't break down that early for spin bowlers, so probably expect one, if not both of them, to overtake Courtney Walsh and perhaps go top 5 of all time.
Spam.
Smith to Jadeja, you are my match winner. I won't let you down.
He did roll some tasty balls to Smith to get him out at the end of that innings as well. So
yes,
I did want to mention, I guess the last thing we would cover, Vaso or Voltaren thoughts.
Look, what Jadu should have done is if he had a sore finger, put that Voltaren gel on in between overs, or just not when you have the ball in your hand and you're bowling.
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes it look a little bit suspicious.
Yes.
Very suspicious.
So he's, of course, been fined 25% of his match fee and gets a demerit. I'm not sure how many demerit points you get, but he's got 1 demerit point added. I think you covered it. Watching the video, you can see his fingers sticking out. It's off the ball and he's rubbing on it, putting the cream, whatever cream it was, on it, because, he was turning up a storm. He was writing fire with that finger. But, he still had the ball in his hand, maybe a little bit rubs off. Yeah, it asked too much questions, I think it was the main thing. If, like you said, he told the umpire what he's doing, even give the ball to the umpire, did it.
Yeah.
And done it and like it's all good, and then off you go, then there's no issue. So I think it was more that he did it in the wrong way. It didn't look overly too bad.
It was more possibly optics than cheating per se.
Yeah, I agree.
Again, Aussies, sandpapers. Can we even say anything ever again in the world of cricket? Probably. Cheating.
One day.
So, how they say prostitution is the world's oldest profession? I think cheating at sport or any sort of male competitive endeavour probably is second.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right,
One
boys.
day someone will get the angle grinder out and do a real job on that ball, and then off we go.
Hey, Cam Brandcroft, you happy to see me, or is that an angle grinder in your pocket? Poor fella. All right, that'll wrap up our India-Australia chat. Looking forward to this second test. A little bit scared, a little bit nervous.
Friday for us?
Yeah, I think Friday. How good's the viewing time? I think we alluded
it's
to
beautiful.
it. Oh, it's elite. It's so elite. If England and South Africa and the rest of you guys that live, Greenwich Meridian time, whatever you're fucking called, if you want to move your countries like 6 hours east, that would be great for our work.
It's probably not a good idea to do that at the moment. If you work out the geography and moving them across, send them east across Europe.
Russia and China. Is that what you're getting at?
Yes, exactly. Let's not do that at the moment.
Yeah. Anyways,
Just play your cricket where we want it.